Hi, this is Mark from SMPostcards again with another video talking about learning how to resell postcards online. Today I have some news and some current events. We're going to go over a little bit about the changes that eBay is going to do with their fall seller update on the postcard categories. I got 17 cards sold on eBay and 1 on Etsy, 0 on HIP. That's about normal. We'll go over those cards throughout the video. Have a special topic today, postcard series. Now if you put all these together, they could be, for some good money, but sometimes it's hard to find all the cards or what series there are. I'll talk a little bit about that. Then a postcard definition term, crossover cards. You probably heard me talk about crossover in different eras of postcards, etc. Well, I'm going to give you the official definition of that. And then again, I got some viewer comments to give you a little insight and behind the scenes and how I think about things, my opinion. So let's go ahead and get started here on the cards that sold on eBay. So 17 cards sold, and a lot of these today are from the naval ship postcard haul that I did. And there's a video series, a playlist out there about that 20,000, 30,000 card haul that I purchased. The first one that sold, I've sold a couple of these now since I put them up. This is the USNS Redstone TAGM 20. It's kind of a weird looking boat. It's a mission class tanker converted to a missile range instrumentation ship. So you can see the weird things on top. I have probably about 150 of these cards. Most of these cards were unposted, but that card sold between $4 and $5. The same person bought this card, and this is a bigger card. It's bigger than a 6x4 Continental. It's about a 5x7 almost. So it will fit into the envelope, but it will go in a different sleeve. But this is the U.S. Naval Station in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's got all the boats. It's on a real good heavy card stock, and it has all the information on the back. So that gentleman bought 2 cards, sold between $4 and $5. The next one, like I always said, universities, schools. This is the Student Union Building, Kansas State Teachers College, Emporia, Kansas. So it's just a teacher building. So someone probably went there, nostalgic, impulse buy, unposted chrome card, solid stock, good edges. Has a little bit of curving, but not much. $4 to $5. The next one is a banner card, a little bit of a different banner card than you usually see. This is Greetings from Palestine, Texas. The banner goes across this way with 2 different generic pictures. There's a street and then some kind of building. But it doesn't have any information on the back except the stamp box. But it's a vertical card, goes up this way. But it's just a banner card for Palestine, Texas. Sold between $4 and $5. Next card is Portland, Maine, New Falmouth Hotel. Now this is a divided back card, posted in 1908. It has a 1-cent stamp box on it. Older card. You can just feel it by the vintage. And when I turn it around to the back, you can see the handwriting is pretty nice. And it's all there. Just for being 1908, over 100 years old, this is not in bad shape. It's got a little bit of bend on the corner there, but that's to be given for a 1908 card. And this has a flea market thing written on there, or antique booth. I don't take those off, I leave it up to the collector, but this sold between $4 and $5. Now I got a lot of these covered bridges. I got into a lot that just had hundreds of these cards, and I did post them all and they do sell over time. But this is a Greetings from Pennsylvania Dutch Country. This is a covered bridge along Lenhartsville, Pennsylvania. It's 175 feet long. So it's just a covered bridge, red. Goes in there, unposted. It has a 50-cent stamp written on there. Sold between $4 and $5. Just posted this one the other day. The biggest frying pan. They actually use these. They said that world's largest frying pan, Long Beach, Washington. This frying pan has been used for many years for a clam festival. World's largest frying pan. I'm adding it to the list. Spider, Bush, Totem Pole. I just sold the frying pan. So this is probably in the store about 48 hours, and it's sold between $4 and $5, and it's from the 1960s. So, who knew? And I'll do 2 more cards, and then I'll get into the special topic postcard series. Dams always do well. They're kind of a slow seller, but they will sell if they got a good shot of them. This is an aerial view of the Mayfield Dam, built by Tacoma City Light in Mayfield. So it's a nice picture of a dam. There's the lake that it built in the back, everything in the front, unposted. It does have some little writing on the antique stuff on there, but dam sold between $4 and $5. Just a chrome card of a dam. And now this one, I know this. I seen for years and years where I worked. I used to go over to a place to get a sandwich for lunch, and I drove right by the old Growl Mill in Hinsdale, Illinois. That's the old mill, and I would see that every day. You drive right past it. It's right off a busy road, right by Ogden, and Old Growl Mill, right in Hinsdale. So that's, about an hour north of me, but that's where I worked every day. And this is a chrome card. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. It's not a white border, even though it has a white border. So this is an earlier one, but that's the Old Growl Mill in Hinsdale, Illinois. It's about 30 miles west of Chicago, 25, 30 miles west of Chicago, downtown Chicago. Sold between $4 and $5. Now let's get into the postcard series, and then I'll get into the news and current events, because there's a little bit about that one today that I wanted to make sure I get into, but I wanted to get into the special topic first. So, postcard series, what are they? I'm going to put the definition right down here. It's pretty straightforward what they are, but there's some details about them, and I got some examples here to show you and what to look for when you see the series cards. Postcard series, a limited number of cards issued that are related by theme. So the key points there is a limited number of cards, and they're related by theme. And you're going to see that in the examples I show you, the theme part of it and the limited number. A little bit more information about these. These could be large numbers of cards printed over months or even years, but they most often appeared as 6 to 12 cards issued in package sets. So as my other video we did postcard sets, those kind of cross over into the postcard series, but they're sets. So it's wherever you want to put them in the genre or the category. They proved to be a good marketing ploy that increased sales. So during the golden age of postcards and the postcard craze, when they were making tons and billions of these, they had to come up with gimmicks and stuff. So doing series got people to collect them, just like stamp collecting. They have series of things, or action figures, they do series of them. Postcards will have the name of the series printed on their backs, while others were just numbered with the publisher's code. And I'll show you those on the back of the examples I have. Publishers would often use the same number for different cards, but assign them to different series. This can be seen on many cards where the number is broken up or letters are added to it. So like 56A, 56B, 1056-A, and different things you'll see on the back of cards. Many large publishers had agreements with one another not to print cards with identical numbers on them. Was that just a gentleman agreement, or was that contractual? So some numbers might be used across if they didn't get along. Many publishers also numbered the cards in series as part of internal record keeping. Remember, back in the day, they didn't have computers. They had to do it by hand. In ledgers and stuff, like a whole desk, floors full of common people. Now, one of the examples I'm going to show you is the Union 76 cards, and you'll see those. And I've been trying to remember to put those and look for that and put it in the titles, because a lot of people collect these. If you go out on the internet, excuse me, there is actually a website that breaks down all the Union 76 series cards and what to look for. And I actually took some of my cards, and I was able to identify all the cards I had and what series they were, when they were printed, and stuff like that, so I had more information. But I'll show you those in a second, but there is a website out there. Now, the price of these cards, what I've seen by looking at the comps on eBay and other sites, They range from, typical $4 to $5 to $20 and up, depending on the subject and the series that they're part of, and sometimes the publisher. I didn't go really in depth in detail because I don't do a lot of research on series cards. I usually sell series cards as singles. So if someone has a series and they need that one card, they can come and find it in my store. But if I do find a series and they're all there, I would probably post those and list those as a series and put that in the title and see if they would go well for a good price. But if not, then I would break them up and list them individually. You always make more money when you list things individually. Now let me show you a couple examples of postcard series that I have for my collection. Now the first one is, you've probably seen this card before. It's the Milkman. That's him right there, replacing the milk in there. Now, but the important thing on the back here, it says series number 1244, Valentine 24 designs made in the US. Let me get that right up there. You can see it right up there on the back. So there's a series. And I bet you if I go out and do research, I can find other cards for this series on there. But that's the series card that I noticed when I purchased this card and listed it. It was part of a series. Now this is a divided back card, probably from the early 1900s or so, on there. But that's one of the series, and you could trace it down and try to get them all. Not for sure if this would be lucrative to spend the time to do that with these, but it would be neat to do, is to try to get them all. And that's what a lot of collectors do, is they try to get them all. Now remember, when collectors get a card like this, say they got a card in their thing and they have this card, but it's got a tear on the top. When then they see mine, they'll update, they'll buy this one, and then sell off their other one or trade it, and now they got a better one. So they always have placeholders in their collections. So if they can find a better card of the one they got for a good price, then they buy it, then they update their collection and trade off. That's how a lot of collectors do it. I know in the action figure world they do that a lot. Now this is one of the Union 76 gasoline series cards, and there's a whole deal about these on there. Now this is a picture of Long Beach, California, just a beach, and that looks like a normal chrome card, but when you turn it over, right there is what you want to look for. Union 76 gasoline, and you want to put that in your title because people collect these, and there's a whole series of them. When you look at that website, that's what it is. And I'll put the description in the website. In the description, I'll put the link to the website on there, so the video description. But that's what you want to look for, is the Union 76. Now there's a number on these. I thought there was okay, and then how to identify these, a lot of times it's from Long Beach, and then it'll tell you the year and stuff like that. The next one of the same series, the Union 76, is just sand dunes, and this is White Sands National Monument. So they did a bunch of really nice photos, but on the back, Union 76, you'll see Pan Am, you'll see Delta, a whole bunch of different series. And you might want to start looking at those when you flip the card over and see if there is a series, or if they say it on the front. Kind of put that in the title or the description to see if you can get maybe a few hits on it. But that's a Union 76, and the link will be in the description for the website that I was telling you about. Postcard series. Find them, look for them, sell them. Who knew? So now let me get into, real quick here, the news and the current events section that I kind of added to the last few videos in this one. So eBay came out with their eBay fall seller update. They usually have one in the spring and one in the fall, and they tell you all the changes. There's a lot of other stuff in there you can go look at, like click to pay or something like that. But the one that caught my eye was this: postcard categories retiring and changing. So what eBay's doing with the postcard category is they're bringing it down, it looks like, to what I see. Now, if someone else has any other ideas what they're doing here, let me know. We're not going to really know until about the first week or 2 weeks in October. I think it's October 14th is when it takes effect. But let me show you a couple things I just cut and pasted out of it. So right here, it says this is the category breakdown of how they break it down in this type of style when you see it. And these are the things that you see in the thing. So they're taking postcards and they got a new category, topographical postcards. And there's the ID. That's a new category, it says. And then non-topographical. So they're creating two new categories. And then they have another one, postcard supplies and accessories. So sleeves, top loaders. And that's a new category. So they got 3 categories. Now, what the heck is topographical? What do they mean? What do I mean and what do they mean? So I wanted to go out and I got the Webster's definition of topographical and what it means. And I thought I'd show it to you here. So topographical, dealing with or depicting places, especially towns, buildings, and natural prospects in a realistic and detailed manner. So their first category is topographical. So it's dealing with or depicting places, buildings, natural prospects, and towns. And you're going to see how they're putting all these in a second. I have an example. The next one is, what is non-topographical category? It's really not a word. It just means not topographical as stated above. So if it doesn't fit the topographical, they're going to put it there. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly where they put these. But I bet you all the buildings, towns, and stuff like that are going to go in the topographical. All the weird ones are going to go in non-topographical. But they have that all broken down in the fall seller update. So you can go in there. I didn't want to put it all here. There's just a lot. But here's an example of that. When I list postcards, I always pick the eBay category for the U.S. states, cities, and towns. So if it's in Maryland, I put Maryland. And then I have a store category of Maryland. So it doesn't affect my store category, but that's where I put it. Well, the example I got here is Alabama. 20194 is the category ID. This category is being retired. All of the states are being retired. Maryland, Illinois, Alabama, South Carolina. All those are going away. They're being retired. And all listings are being moved into the topographical postcards 262042 category after October 14th, 2021. As a result of this category change, existing items specifics are likely to change. Please update your listings with the new item specifics after the category changes for optimal visibility. So if you do what I do and you put them in any of these categories, I would say 99% of all postcards are going to get moved into topographical or non-topographical thing, and it will affect the item specifics, and you will have to go in to adjust some of those. They do make it easy. What you want to look for in the seller update, and they've had it for a long time, is a download report. You can actually go in and download some things and see what you can do on a bulk spreadsheet, and just copy and paste all the way down. But you might have to look at the card, so it's a little bit of work. Some people are concerned that this is happening in fourth quarter because they sell a lot in there. Me, I have a toy store that will dramatically increase during the fourth quarter. This so far is not affecting the toy store, and this is postcards which sell throughout the year. But it does make a little bit more work for us during the fourth quarter. It is what it is. I could get on here and talk them down and whatever. Just tell me what you're doing. I'll figure out a way to get it done. I might not be able to list one day while I do these things or whatever. I'll just figure out how to get it done. It's part of being on someone else's site and stuff like that. So you want to look for those in October 15th. So if you see a lot of changes with your postcard categories and they're not there anymore and stuff, this is what it is. So check those fall and seller updates. Usually when those fall and seller updates come out, you can find Facebook groups that paraphrase it for you. And usually when anything happens on eBay or one of the sites, there's 20, 30 videos that go up. Someone will tell you what's going on as well. And I wanted to bring that to here. But that's the only news I really got. Everything's the same. Envelopes are still high. Sleeves are getting hard to find. But if you want to get your supplies, make sure you get them now. Because I think we're going to have a problem with those. Or I know we're going to have a problem getting supplies. Not for sure about how the post office is going to go this year. But if you're shipping out every 2 days, I would probably look at your shipping. I'm probably going to be putting stuff in the mailbox, and if anything sells during the day and I got time, I'm going to run them over to the blue box or the post office in the afternoon just to get that extra day during the peak times of the holidays until it slows, gets back to normal again. That's the news and current views. If there's anything you would like me to talk about in there, always leave it in the comments. I'll bring it up in the viewer comments, or I'll bring it up in the news and do a little research. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, and I don't know everything. So that's all I got there. Let me go through some more cards here for eBay. Won't take too long, and then we'll get into the term crossover cards. This is so important to me, crossover, because it just confuses me and it confuses a lot of the new people. They're trying to get their heads wrapped around postcards, and I hope this will help. And then I'll get into the viewer comments a little bit after that. So the next card that's sold on eBay, these always seem to do well whenever there's a guy fishing on a lake or something like that. This is a linen card, even though it doesn't really look like one, but you can tell from the blue. But there's a guy fishing on a lake, and I'm not too sure, it doesn't really say where it is. Oh, Brainerd Lake, Boulder Glacier. It's in Colorado, and some guy's got fly fishing out there. Unposted, sold between $4 and $5. Make sure you get fishing in the title. People do search on that. Next one is a Hawaii card. Always pick up Caribbean. I can't guarantee they'll sell, but they do. They do sell. When I first started deciding to go and sell on postcards years ago, I said, what sells? What doesn't sell? Whatever. So I put a spreadsheet together. I was going after this. I was going to track everything. Chrome cards, mountains, boulders, bushes, cities, towns. I had the spreadsheet basically driving me crazy. So every time I sold a card, I had to go into the spreadsheet and put it in those categories. I did that for like 7 weeks. And you know what? I looked at it. After that time getting up there, I'm sitting there, this is crazy. They all sell. Everything sells. As long as it's not ripped up and torn, it will probably sell. And I'm going to get into viewer comments here, talking about, sell-through rate of postcards compared to other things and what people think. But I did the tracking. They all sell. You know what the top category type of card that sold? Chromes were the biggest ones that sold. And then I think it was divided back and then white border. Linens were a little bit lower, which was expected. And I don't do a lot of the RPPCs and the undivided backs, but those sold also. But chromes were the biggest sellers. I'm tracking it for like 7 weeks way back when. I just toss it away. I don't track anymore. What I do track is the number of cards per site and per month. So I work off of a monthly figures. Even on listing. So say for the first 7 days this month, I don't have time to list because I'm working on something else or a family, and I'm only listing maybe 10 cards a day. My average is 10 cards. I like to be about 30 a day from what I sold and what I had the month before, so that's called gain to me. Did I gain? So I like to have like 30 cards a day average for the end of the month, but sometimes things get in the way for a couple weeks. So what that means is the last 2 weeks of the month, I need to list probably 60 a day to catch up. So I try to catch up for the month. So I don't worry about not listing for a couple days because I'll catch it up for the month. And I look at that number. I track that number to how many days are in the month and what my average is. I also do that with sales. I don't look at everyday sales. I look at how I'm doing for the month and what the average card per day is. So I can adjust that. Do I need to do something different? The middle of the month is usually when I take a real close snapshot of the numbers, because if you get past the middle of the month, just like the middle of the year, when you get halfway through the year, to catch up is harder. So you want to catch it early. So I catch it up midway, like on toys. I didn't sell any toys for 8 days. Even though I downgraded my store, I always sold some kind of toys every day, action figures. For 8 days is the longest stretch I've had in years. Boom, I threw a sale up there, 10, 20, 30% off. Now I got some sales coming in, but I caught that early enough to where I can make my monthly figures. So a lot of people worry about what they're selling every day, and I didn't have a sale in 2 days. I don't ride that roller coaster. I do it for a monthly. Now when you first start out, you're looking for that cash coming in, you're watching eBay and stuff like that, you'll get to the point that I'm probably at once you get enough cards up and enough cash flow coming in that you know. There's never been a month since I started reselling that I didn't make a profit or pay my bills. Now, when I first started, I don't count the first 3 months because I had no idea what I was doing with eBay and stuff like that. Those months there were just kind of figuring it out, and I had to put some of my own money for inventory and stuff like that. But once it started going, I've made my money every month. So, but Hawaii cards, they always sell. This is the Punalu Black Sand Beach in Hawaii. So there's now what's in here, and I put in the title, Net Fisherman. With a net. Those always do well for the Caribbean cards when you put a net fisherman. Put that in the title. Those will do well. Let me do 2 more cards here, and then we'll get into the definition of crossover cards. So with that naval ship haul I got, that's 20,000, and it's getting up to be about 40,000 cards now. Now that's quantity, not individual listings. If you look in my store, we're probably getting close to maybe 22,000 listings in the eBay store, and then I have a bunch in the eBay or the Etsy. So we have about a little over 25,000 postcards. So it's not driving my listing count. What it's driving is quantity. I might have 300 of this one card, so it's one listing with a quantity of 300. Some people say, well, I wouldn't count those. I would just put 10 and just keep adding to it as it goes. You know what? I was thinking about that. It was one way or the other. I said, I just want to touch these once. So when I list a card like this, and I got, say, 300 of them, I'll make one listing, and I'll sit there and I'll count out every card and put 300. I don't have to touch it ever again. It's going to count down by itself. Now, when I get down to a lower amount, I'll verify the count to make sure I didn't screw up, which happens. So I could have went either way. But I figured from a long-term maintenance, since these are going to be around for a long, long time to sell, I would just put the quantity in there. And I think we're up now over 70,000 quantity of postcards. Not listings, quantity in our eBay store. It's just ridiculous. I just look at that number. Now, does that help with sales? It helps with inventory. It helps to know that I have inventory. Also gives the people more options. I have a volume discount, so if they want to buy 10, 20 cards for their friends to go into a reunion, they can do that. But it just makes it easier. It does take up a little bit more space. My shelves are getting full. But that was part of buying that big quantity. I can deal with that. So as I was looking through the last box I had shoved under the table because I didn't have any room on the shelves or where to put it, if you see the video, I had a white table with all the cards on it. Well, that's gone now. I've got all that taken care of. But underneath there, I put one of those big boxes. I thought it was 9 red boxes of the prints, the bigger prints that I'll get into later this year or early next year. But when I went through the box to take it out, I found 6 or 7 boxes, not naval ships, Navy airplanes, jet fighters. And man, I started listing those. I got all of them up, and I've sold a lot of those already. So this is another thing that I'll look for when I go out in the wild too, is Navy jet fighters on there. And you'll see in this couple of these that I've sold a few of these cards, but they're doing well, and the ships are doing well too. They're just sprinkling into my sales. They're not going to be a big, I'm going to sell 50 cards and make tons of money. It's just over time they're going to sell. But this gentleman bought the T45A Goshawk, and I thought this was a pretty cool card. It's bigger than a Continental card. It's about a 5x7, but it's really good card stock. Red tail on there. Has, these are all new cards. It's a really nice card, sold between $4 and $5. Now the next card that's sold is White Mountains National Forest, New Hampshire. I have tons of White Mountains, and I keep listing them because they keep selling. This is just a plain view card, black and white. This is a black and white card. I've had people ask me about the Navy boats. They said some of your Navy ships are not showing color. Does your scanner pick that up? Those are black and white cards. And you can call them halftones, black and white halftones, or whatever, but I call them black and white cards, B&W. You can put in your title. on there, but I let the gentleman know, no, our scanner does pick up colors. Those are black and white versions of the card. He bought them anyway. He just wanted to verify if what he was buying is what he was seeing. So that's it. And that sold between $4 and $5. Definition and terms. Every video I try to find one to put in there. I'm running a little low on some of them, but I found another place to find some more crossover, more terms to go add to my list to bring up. And I might reuse some, so don't beat me up on that, because some redundancy is good to learn. But to learn the terminology just makes learning postcards and reselling so much easier. So the term I got for today is crossover cards. What do we mean by crossover? So here you go, I'll put it right down here. Crossover cards. Type of postcards whose subject matter allows it to be categorized under a number of different genres or types. Puzzle cards could be in mechanical cards. Chrome cards could be in view cards. Stuff like that. For example, a sledding scene could possibly be filed under children, sleds, winter sports, or even possibly artist sign or real photo cards in addition to its location. That's how I always tried to explain these terms and different cards, is they can be in different places, how you look at them. So this is a perfect example of a sledding scene. You could probably even put it in Christmas if there's snow on there. A lot of people say, where do I put this card? Put it in the best category that you feel the card should go in. And it should be the correct category. You wouldn't want to put postcards under tennis rackets. So you want to stay in the postcards and try to get it in the right one. So crossover cards, you want to be careful. You know, hold to the light postcards might have a church on it, but it's really a hold to the light. But you could put it in the church, hold to the light, or you can just put it in the church. But to me, I would put it in hold to the light because I would sell more cards, and that's really where it should go. Everybody has their opinion, but the crossover is really strange sometimes on what you're trying to get on the cards. Now this crossover also goes into your inventory process, your system. One of the best practices when you start selling postcards is to figure out your inventory system as soon as possible. I have videos on that in here, how we do it. Other people have videos how they do it. Go and look at them and pick out the one that works with your mind. You know, some people label racks, rack 1, row 1, box A. Rack 2, row 1, box A. To me, that causes too much numbers. I just put 3 racks in my room, and I start top left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to the last one, which is 90 or 45, 1 to 45. What box is it in? I just know it goes left to right. Why put all those numbers in there? But then some people don't think that way. They want to do it the other way. They want to get this detail. You're just making it harder for yourself, is how I think. But don't get stuck. Resellers need to be two things. They need to be humble, and they need to be coachable. So if you're stuck in a way of doing something, don't get defensive if you see something different or someone's doing it there. Try it. Then you can figure out, yeah, this isn't going to work for me on there. But you got to be humble when you get into reselling and business. You have to be coachable as well. So you have to be open, approachable. If you say, this is how I'm doing it, and that's never going to be, that way's not better. Some people have been doing it longer than you have. They've experienced what you're going through. Just take your time, be humble, be coachable, see what's there. You don't have to do it the way I do it or what I say. Find what works for you. But crossover can be a pain when it's doing postcards. So if I look at this card here, this is my next one in my stack that I'm going to list on Etsy today. Now, where would you put this in your inventory? It says Mrs. Vanderbilt bedroom, Biltmore House and Gardens, Biltmore State, Biltmore, North Carolina. Now, some people would put this in the North Carolina box. Some people would put this in Vanderbilt box. Some people put this in B for Biltmore. That's the crossover. Is how were you thinking that day and how was that person? Now, if you have a system, you know where you're going to use all states and stuff. That's fine. Some postcards don't have states. So what are you going to do? So you got to come up and be a devil's advocate to your inventory system. Now I can give you a good starter with our video and go out and look at other people and see how they categorize their postcards. Some people just put them in a drawer and they go through each one. Stuff like that. Whatever works for you, but crossover goes across everything you do with postcards. But that's crossover cards. Who knew? Okay, let me finish up the what's sold here, and then we're going to get into the viewer comments. And one of those is sell-through rate. Man, does that spark a lot of attention. Next card I sold on eBay was Bath's Chasm, and I just listed this card the last 3 days. There's some people standing up there. It's a chrome card, sold between $4 and $5. It's postmarked 1956. It's got a 3-cent stamp on it. Nice solid card. But there's what I think really sold is the place and then the people standing there on there. Now this guy just came in this morning. There's some more planes. These are air-to-air left side of a intruder aircraft flying in formation. It's a Navy photograph, but look how neat that is. The two planes. This is like a 5x7 card. That is just awesome. You can see it's an intruder with the things on the front. Unposted card, $4 to $5. He also purchased Hornets, FA-18C Hornets, and then there's the Enterprise down at the bottom underneath. Really nicely made card, solid stock, straight as an arrow. Really nice card, but look at that. There's a missile right on the end there, and there's some tanks. Really nice card, $4 to $5. And then this card is Patrol Squadron 8. Sounds like some video game. Unit 60164. Based at the Naval Air Station in Brunswick, Maine. So this is just like a cargo plane or some kind of plane there. This is a standard 3.5 by 5.5 card. Unposted. Does have a little curve to it, but that should be no problem to come out. I didn't even put that as a problem because it's a nice card stock that will bend back out. But that's another plane. So he bought 3 cards. And, you know, $12, $14, $15 for 3 planes that I found under a table. That was a nice surprise. Really good. Now, the last card I sold on eBay, bears. Gotta have bears. Always put in there. This is just a diorama in the Chicago Natural History Museum. Grizzly bear of the northern Mexico. Very neat card. Solid card stock on there. It's 1969. Now it does have a date up there. Someone wrote on there. You want to be careful of those. That might be the date that they got it, not the date that they that the card was made for their collection. But you just want to verify that. But that's the bears, $4 to $5. So that was all the cards that we sold on eBay. 17 cards. So 17 times 4, 60, $80. And then the only card I sold on Etsy was this one. This is a rounded corner card, if not from where. This is Court Street looking east in Binghamton, New York. Just a road. Nice looking view of a downtown. Now I think this would probably go in the topographical new category for eBay after the 14th because it's a place on there. So this is one card that they would move out of New York and put into the topographical. It's not a non-topographical, but that's where that would go. And this sold between $4 and $5 on Etsy. No cards sold on HIP. I did put a sale on HIP. I think a 20% sale on HIP for a week or so, or the rest of the month on HIP, because you do make a little bit more money on HIP because the overhead is not as high. So I figured I'd get more people in there and see if I can bump that up a little bit because they do have a following. Nothing sold yet. HIP is HIP. It does make money. It does pay for itself. But it's just another place I can put SM postcards on. Same with Etsy. Not as big as eBay. eBay still 75 to 80%. Etsy's between 12-15%. HIP is 5%. But eBay is where I focus because that's where I sell most cards. But I'm trying to build up the other two as I'm taking care of the big one, eBay. So that's all the cards that we sold. Those will get packed up and put in the mailbox. Now if you're finding value with this video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos coming in the future. And also look at our other videos that we have out there to help people just starting out, or if you've been doing it a while, just to refresh what you're doing. Let me get into the viewer comments. A lot of people like these, and I get to improv a little bit, and it makes me think sometimes some of the questions that come in. So the first viewer comment I got is, thanks for the interesting info. Thank you. I'm glad you found it interesting. I found a wooded postcard first for me. So they have a wooden postcard. I got into those a little bit, and here's what I found with them. They sell for about the same amount of money as a regular postcard. The shipping is different because they're rigid. They have to be first class package because they're non-machinable, so they are going to cost more that way. So $4 to $5, $6, $7, $8 postcard plus $4 to $5 to ship it. So you're talking $10, $12 for a buyer. They did sell, but I brought the price down like $3 for a postcard to offset the shipping. So I don't really actively search for wooden postcards. If I do get them and I see them for, a quarter, 10 cents, yeah, I'll pick them up. But I have to add shipping, and they will sit a little bit. Now, you want to go out, and I'll be doing a video on it, is birch bark postcards. Check those out. Nice prices on those birch. They're actually bark that they made a postcard out of, and they're actually written on. So, but they're like leather postcards. I don't actively search for them, but if I get them, I'll put them up. Leather postcards will ship just like regular in one of our envelopes, but the wooden ones I found are first class package, and that's what stops it. Now there is some special ones out there, like always, design, novelty, age. It all can drive a postcard. Put up, go high, put best offer on it, and see what you get in 90 days. If it doesn't sell, drop it down. So, but congratulations on getting your first wooden postcard, but they are pretty prevalent out there. What is your sell-through rate on postcards? Now, this is a topic that Amazon buyers would look at probably more, I think. I'm not an Amazon seller, so, but, correct me if I'm wrong. But sell-through rate, I don't sell toothpaste. I don't sell consumables. Those are the things that people, soap and stuff like that. I sell postcards. They're collectibles. Sell-through rate and collectibles are hard to do because sometimes you got one of a kind, or they're just a collectible. They're just not really consumable. So sell-through rate usually throws people for a wing. Now, sell-through rate, let me give you the definition. And this is how I calculate it. Just a very simple calculation. I don't get real in-depth with this because I really don't care how long a postcard sits. I just keep listing because I'm going to sell it. Just today, I have box number 1 up there that I put up years ago. That's my lowest number card, 4,000 series, like 4,000 was the SKU number, the inventory number. I'm up to 42,000 or 45,000 on the SKU number. That's how many cards I put up over the years for this inventory. And that was in the first box, one of the first cards I ever listed, and it sold today. I don't do the relist and end and relist and all that. And that card was still there, and I sell out of all the boxes from number 1 all the way to number 85 or 80 what I'm on. So I sell all the way through all the boxes. But how I calculate sell-through rate is basically what this definition is. Sell-through rate, how is it calculated? Sell-through is a percentage of units sold during a period, for example, 1 month. It is calculated by dividing the number of units sold by the beginning on-hand inventory for that same period. So every month I have it on my spreadsheet, how many is in my inventory and how many sold, and guess what that number is? 2 to 3%. I'll give you a 4 to 5. But 2 to 3% is what my real quick unscientific calculation says for postcards. What does that really mean? That means out of 100 cards listed, I'm going to sell 2 or 3 of them every month. So if you only have 100 cards in your store, a lot of people say, my cards aren't selling. You're selling, 20 cards, 15 cards, 10 cards. I'm not selling. How many cards do you have? 50. So you're going to sell 1 card a month. Now that's sell-through rate. It doesn't take into consideration the type of card, the novelty of the card, how good the card is, are they rare? If I put all hold of the light postcards up, are they going to sell faster? Our PPCs do real well for good money. So people that sell the higher end might have a better sell-through rate and less inventory. So sell-through rate on postcards to me is just another indicator. I don't really worry about it, because they say normal rates of 80% and above sell-through rate is excellent, and anything 40% and under should be cause for concern. Man, I'm way under. Postcards are way under, but I'm not concerned. So don't get hung up on a lot of the reselling stuff about that, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong with sell-through rate because I don't look into it that much, I'm not worried about that. But if I was selling toothpaste and consumables and stuff, I would want to go out and find the sell-through rate on there. Now, if I was selling clothes, I know one gentleman does some kind of manifesto that has the sell-through rate on what types of clothes sell. That's good for that. But it doesn't really do much for me for postcards, because they can sit as long as they want. I like to sell them as soon as possible, but you got to get the quantity up. I didn't really see a good number of cards sold until I hit 6,000 to 8,000 cards listed. Then I felt comfortable with that and the cash flow coming in to pay for itself. I was selling cards before that, don't get me wrong, I was paying for itself pretty much. But I really liked it when I hit about 6,000 cards. It just seemed like someone turned the faucet on and, on there. But that's sell-through rate. Next viewer comment: where do you get your ink stamps for your envelopes? So what they're talking about is not the postage stamp, it's those stamps right there. I stamp every envelope with a little marker. Oh, I just shut this one. I didn't want to do that. There. This is one envelope I actually unpeeled, and I didn't want to stick it, because once these envelopes stick, you're not getting it apart. You're going to destroy the envelope. But that's just a little stamp I put on there. Like I said, I could be a marketing genius or just a waste of my time. But I figured I'd put SM postcards on there. And also, people will take the mail and they'll toss it to the side thinking it's junk mail. So if they see SM postcards on there, maybe I have a chance of it not getting thrown to the side in the basket. But I get my ink stamps from Vistaprint. I think they're between $12 and $16 with shipping. But what I do is I go in and I have a design in there and I just add to it or whatever when I need a stamp. And then I go to checkout and I run, there's this little thing that popped up on my browser to check for top 20 coupons. And I let it run. Most of the time I get my shipping paid. Last time I think I got $4 or $5 off for the thing. But I order one maybe once a year, because you do get a lot of stamps out of one of these. A lot. On there, but sometimes they might get a little weak and you got to press a little harder. So once in a while I'll just order another one and keep this one for a backup in case I break the other one. But Vistaprint is the easiest one for me. What the next viewer comment: what does SM and SM postcards mean? Nothing special. My wife's name's Shelly. My name's Mark. SM postcards, Shelly and Mark postcards. We have our main company is Shellmark Sales, Shelly and Mark. It's called Shellmark Sales on there, and that is pointed to our toy store. So the SM Postcards is under Shellmark Sales, Shelly and Mark. How simple can you get? And S sounds good in front of anything. S and J, S and L. So I used her name. Does she have much to do with the postcards? No, not at all. She does put my shelves up and decorate things and stuff like that, because she would not want me to do that, and that's why they're straight. I've had a lot of questions about cameras and scanners. What's better? Some people are dead set that a camera is better. Some people are dead set as a scanner. Go check out this video. I actually sat down and did a test for 10 minutes on camera, and I did a test for a scanner. Now I did speed it up so you don't have to sit there for 20 minutes watching me, but then I show you the results. Check this video out. Maybe that'll help you make a decision what you want to do. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.